So the material that you're looking at here is from the Never Summer Mountains. And it's a pyroclastic material, which means that it rolls along in big clouds of very hot steam and gas, and builds up what we call a tuff when it comes to rest, and it hardens into a very hard rock called tuff. But it's a pyroclastic rock, it's not a lava. And the scientists here say it came from the Never Summer Mountains.
Wow.
28 million years ago, which, I mean, on our time scale, if you crunch it down, would probably have been a little post-flood. 20, I usually calculate the time of between 10,000 and 60 million years is kind of the post-flood period. Because there's a lot of things that happen that just are tie in with the flood. And this would have been one of those. This is an amazing amount of tuff. You get this kind of stuff from explosions like Yellowstone. There are mountains about 3 times as high that are made of nothing but tuff. And it's all pyroclastic material. So they say this stuff, though, came from the Never Summer Mountains.
The Never Summer Mountains exploded, the lava flowed, and these tuffs are from that lava flow.
Well, not the lava flow, but from the explosion of the hot steam and gases. That's what tuff is. It's a pyroclastic, which means fire broken. So it's just this massive explosion of steam, hot gases, glass shards of rock.
So then they came down and
this is where they rested.
Landed.
Yeah, that's right.
These were gaseous?
Very gaseous, yes.
That then solidified?
Yes.
It just kind of formed in one area then?
Yeah,
Down here? So
yeah,
it just spread
and-
all between here and there.
Unless there are other places they've found it. And that's
Okay.
pretty typical, especially since this area has been glaciated. It wouldn't be surprised to find that a lot of it's been moved. But evidently, this is a cirque right here. So we've got it preserved somewhat right here. But that's very interesting. When they said lava cliffs, I was a little, okay, wait a minute, that requires a vent or a volcano of some kind here. And I just wasn't aware of anything like that. Well, this makes sense. Does that
mean that there was a gas form of the rock, or does it
Yeah.
mean that gases moved the rock?
Yeah, if you picture, it's the whole thing is a huge conglomerate of very hot gas, and in that cloud of gas is ash, volcanic dust, shards of bits and pieces of volcanic rock, glass, lots and lots of glass, silica, and it just moves in a big cloud. If you saw Mount St. Helens, the eruption of it, that cloud that's moving up is a pyroclastic cloud. And then it began to move along the ground when it blasted, sideways. That's just a cloud of pyroclastic material. That rolled for about 13 miles. This is, of course, significantly bigger, especially if it came from the Never Summer Mountains. Does everybody understand the difference between lava then and tuff? Yeah, lava is a very fluid, liquid type material. And especially if you can see in Hawaii, that's a darker kind of lava that flows out. And then you've got the more explosive kind like Mount St. Helens. But here, this material is tuff. And that would make more sense.
How's that spelled?
Tuff. Yeah.
I'm curious, to form a cirque, essentially is the glacier up on top and then just slides down and carves out that round area. Is that the movement?
Well, it would be where the glacier would accumulate, and of course it would flow over the top, but it generally accumulates in some kind of a cutout and then begins to move.
Okay.
Again, a classic example of that, if you look at Mount St. Helens, the glacier that's forming between the dome, pretend that's the crater rim of the old volcano. It's forming between the crater rim and the dome, and it's beginning to move around it in tongues. And so that'll begin to cut that out, and you'll see, probably in no time, you'll see a glacial valley form. You can see that over here. It's just real jagged on the inside of it. There's remnants of the plucking that takes place. So this would indicate, though, a very catastrophic event here. That is a lot of tuff. 80?
Oh wow.
80 miles?
8.
8.
Oh well, that makes more
Well,
sense.
that's really nothing. I mean, when they have found
I'm sorry.
they have found ash from Yellowstone as far southeast as Louisiana. They find it in Colorado here, in Kansas, all across Kansas.
That tells you how hot this was to have been ejected high enough in the air to come this direction
Yeah.
and to land and still be hot enough to weld together in the solid rock.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
So this was
3,000 degrees maybe.
soft. This was like
Gas.
gas.
It's gas
Like a-
with particles in it.
Yeah, hot gas cloud, probably 1,300 degrees, and then moving at a tremendous rate because it's been blasted out. So, there you go. That's a very interesting feature, isn't it? Now you can tell people when they tell you, "Hey, I saw the lava flow up there." No, quite a lava flow. Tough.